In this video, we will see how we can use the rename standard library function in C programming language in order to rename and move files and folders. So here, if we talk about the syntax, now this is a standard library function. Name is rename. First, we have to provide the existing path of the file or the folder, and then we have to specify the new path for the file or the folder, and it will return an integer value. If it successfully performs the operation, then it will return 0. If it fails, if any error occurs, it will return a non-zero value. Now let us see how we can use this. So now here, in order to explain this, what I have done is in this file handling folder, I have created a new folder called as rename, and this is the folder where the file and the folders will be there. So in order to explain this, I will go to new and then text document, and I will say rename me as the name for this text file. So we will rename this rename me text file. So let's come back to the program. So now I have included the stdio.h header file. So that gives us the access to the rename function. In order to store the return value, I will create an integer variable. I will call it as result, and then I will use the rename function. And as the first argument, we have to provide the existing path for the file or the folder. If the file that you want to rename or move is present in the same folder where the executable file which will run is present, then you can specify the name of the file or the folder. You can also use the absolute path if it is present in some other folder. So here the file that we want to rename is called as renameme.txt, and then we have to provide the new name or the new path for this file. So here I just want to put that file in the same folder as it is present right now, but I just want to change the name. So I will say new name.txt. Okay. And after that, we will check the return value and we will display the appropriate message. So it will be if, and then we will check the value of result, whether it is equal to 0. In that case, we will use the put as, and we will say success. Else we will use the perror function and we will display error. The advantage of this perror is that if any error occurs, it will display our message, which is error in this case, and also it will display the reason for the error. Maybe file is not there, or you don't have the permission to modify the file, something like that. So now what I have done is I have opened up the folder in the right hand side, and in the left hand side I have the program opened in the Visual Studio Code. So here you guys can see in this folder rename.c is present. When I compile this program, rename.exe will be created in this exact folder, and the file that I'm renaming here is also present in the same folder where the executable file for this program will be present, and that's why I don't have to provide the absolute path here. So now I will run this program. You guys can see the executable file is created first, and then this executable file will run. And when that happens, we can see success in this terminal. That is the output of this particular program. And if you look at this folder, the file name has been changed. Right now it is called as new name.txt. Now we can do the same thing with the folders also. So in order to demonstrate that, I will create a folder in this folder. So I'm gonna say rename me for the folder name. So here it will be rename me, and then I'm gonna change that one to new name. So since this folder that I want to modify is present in the same folder where the executable file which we are running is present, I don't have to provide the path. So I will run this program now, and now take a look at this folder name. You guys can see it has been changed to new name. Now what happens if I run this program again? This time there is no folder called as rename me, and that's why it says no such file or directory. We get the error message. So right now what we have done is we have renamed the folder. What if I want to move the folder to a completely different location? In order to explain that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this file called as new name.txt inside this new name folder. So if I open up the new name folder, you guys can see the new name.txt file is there. What I want to do is I want to move this entire folder to a completely different path. And in order to explain that, I'm going to go to the videos folder in my computer, and then I will create a folder called as data. Here it is already there, data. So what I want to do is I want to use the C program to move this new name and its contents to this data folder. Okay, so what I will do in this particular program is first I will specify the folder that I want to move. So it will be new name, and I'm not going to specify the path because it is present in the same folder where the executable file of this program that we are running is present. And here for the destination, I have to get the path of this data folder. To get that, I will open up the data folder. I will left click here on this URL or navigation link, and then we get the path. I will right click and I will copy, and then I will come back to the program and I will paste that path here. And now here what we have to do is we have to change the path. So since it has only one slash here, C programming language thinks of it as the escape sequence character, because slash n slash t, all of the escape sequence characters begin with a backward slash, backslash, and that's why it is thinking of these slashes as the escape sequence slashes. So we will add one more slash here just to escape the meaning of that. Okay, like this. And then here we have to provide the name for this folder or the file. So right now this is the location to which we want to move the data, but we have to give a name for this folder that we are moving. So here it will be new name, or I can specify an entirely different name if I want. For example, I'm going to say new name 2. Okay, so what it does is it moves the new name folder to this data folder which is present in videos, and then it will rename that to new name 2. So inside this data folder we will get to see a folder called as new name 2. So I have the option of keeping the same name, or I can give an entirely different name if I want. So now here on the left hand side I have the program, and on the right hand side I have the folder where this new name folder is currently present, which is inside the rename folder. Okay, now I will run this program, and now here it says success. And if I look at the rename folder, the new name folder is not there. And if I open up the data folder, you guys can see the folder called as new name 2. That is the new name that we have given for the folder. And inside that we have the new name.txt file. So, here I have explained how we can rename the folders, or, how we can move the folder. With the files also, it is the same thing. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is you can move easily inside the same file system, but if it is a different file system, then it can, generate some issues. And also you need to have the permission in order to, rename and move the files. So this is it guys for this particular video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you have anything to say, write that in the comment box. For more tutorials, subscribe to the channel.